Morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone wherever you are in the world. I'm your host, Lolly Handtrap, and today we have a deck profile where I played this at locals, went XO, played this at the Konami Remote Duel Qualifier event, and got 13th place, X2. Round 1 was Drytron, round 2 was Drytron, round 3 was ELDLICH Zoo, round 4 was Drytron, round 5 was Drytron. Kill me. But yeah, here we played ZOODIAC ELDLICH, and yeah, pretty much this deck is a very opportunist deck compared to other decks I've seen where it's basically trap heavy or hand trap heavy. This is a mixture of both. You grasp the opportunity that you're given, the scenarios that you may play to control your resources. It's a very complicated deck, but at the same time, it's quite simple. You just grab the opportunity to go for the OTK or for the resource grind. But anyways, let's get right into it. So we first start off with the main deck. My bad. Sorry. I'm kind of like under the weather after getting de-stressed from, the qualifiers. But anyways, we'll first start off with the ZOODIAC core, which is 2 Rams, 2 Whiptails, 1 Thoroughblade. So basically, the 2 Rams, 2 Whiptail, 1 Thoroughblade is probably the best option. I've seen people say, why don't you play Bunny Blast? The reason why I don't play Bunny Blast is the fact that Bunny Blast isn't a great option during this current format where it's a mid-range format. Sure, there are spells like Forbidden Chalice where it targets and negates, but you don't really see it in this current format as it's a trap-heavy format. It's a control format, and yeah. You'll mostly see a spell format probably later on after the next ban list, but yeah, 2 Rams is the most optimal option. 2 Whiptails is the fact because it can equip and also it banishes, and Thoroughblade is just there to be a ZOODIAC name or a monster that you can play off or be another play for your Mega Clops as well, just in case that while you have Ram Grave, you can either use these 2 or another Ram to go to Mega Clops. But another alternative you can do if you don't like the 2 Whiptails is 2 Ram, 1 Whiptail and 2 Thoroughblade. The reason why you want to keep it as this ratio as well, 100%, is that Whiptail can be equipped to a ZOODIAC monster or to Borbo and inflict more damage as well to your opponent. That's where it becomes a opportunistic part of this deck. But anyways, onto your basically other monster, which is, of course, you can play an ELDLICH deck without Golden Lords, aka you play 2 Golden Lords. The reason why you don't play 3 is the fact that, again, the usual reasoning of why you don't play a 3 of Desires is you sometimes want it, but don't always want to see it. You sometimes want to see it, but not all the time. An example where I basically didn't want to see 3 is during my game against Drytrons, my round 4 where I played against Drytrons. Round 1 I lost because of he went first, and games 2. Oh no, this is my round 3 for ZOODIAC ELDLICH. Round 1 he went first and he got the win because again ELDLICH, if you go first you have the trap established already. Games 2 I got that because I went first. Games 3 I went second, but I could have won if I drew well, aka if I didn't drew these 2 100%, because I sided out for the cards I needed and such. So yeah, but the one thing is drawing these 2 at the same hand is the worst thing that can ever happen to you. But yeah, so anyways, so this is where it goes to the aspect of why you don't play a full trap deck, because again, if you brick like that you lose. So that's why you play hand traps as well. You play 3 Ash, 3 Skullmeister, 3 Bell, and 3 Nibiru. So the reason why you play 3 Ash is because Ash is a very universal hand trap. Skullmeister because basically any deck in its current format, ELDLICH, Invoked, the cards sometimes activate Engrave. Same with Ghost Bell where it invokes Banish, and Nibiru. Not a lot of combo decks, a lot of rogue decks, they don't expect Nibiru, so they don't respect the Nibiru. I've had Drytron players during the qualifiers where they just combo off after getting Ash or Skullmeister and not respecting Nibiru. They don't go to the ultimateness on the 4th summon or 5th summon. They just go straight into the combo and they get Nibiru and get punished heavily. And because they know I'm playing Nibiru, I sat out the Nibiru for Drone Lockbird. Anyways, onto your spells and traps. So basically for your spells, you're going to play your searchers, which is 3 tanky, 1 barrage, and 3 Eldlin. So people might say, wow, you're playing Eldlin tanky, what if you get drolled? The thing is, guys, even if you get drolled, you still have traps in your deck that's special summon from your deck. And because you get drolled, it doesn't really mean much. This is not Zed, where Zed will die to droll easily. So yeah, pretty much there's no problem if you get drolled. Droll does not do anything to this deck, 100%. Anyways, next up are your traps, which are 3 Sanguines, 3 Conquistadors, and 2 Hawkeros. So the reason why you play a 3-3-2 engine is the fact that, again, for the consistency's sake, this is a 47 card deck. This does pretty well. So the 3 Sanguine is mostly pretty obvious. The one thing is, I've seen it on Trip Gaming's video, and it's my mindset as well. You can just play with 2, honestly. You can just play with 2, and play a third Hawkero. But the one thing is with Sanguine, you can also just side one out for another card. And then for Conquistador, you can keep it for the pop. But 100%, I feel like you can play 48 cards in this deck and play the third Hawkero, because there are times when you want to see that Hawkero to banish cards from your opponent's deck, especially against Tritrons. And this is where you might want to play like 2 Conquistadors instead of 3, and play 3 Hawkeros instead of 2. But anyways, on to the staple traps, which are pretty simple. 3 Torrential Tributes, 3 Heavy Storm Dusters, 2 IDPs, 2 Trap Tricks, and lastly 3 Solemn Strikes. So the reason why you play Torrential Tribute is because of decks like Tritrons. On their summon of Gamma, that's when you want to torrential them. Heavy Storm Duster, basically because a lot of decks are back row heavy, you can play Trap Trick as well, and this is where you're expecting to put win die roll as well. IDP goes against a lot of good decks right now. Zoodiac, ELDLICH, the Mirror, basically you can use your Golden Lord, Dogmaticas, Invoke, Dragoon Turbos, whatever. You just want to just establish a good enough board by utilizing your opponent's monsters as well. You go into the BLS link, you're going to Asa, going to the Zoodiac monsters, going to Vespinato, Zeus, whatever. There was this one time against Drytrons where I IDP'd them, took their Zeus and attacked them game with their Zeus. That is a good usage of your opponent's monsters, by the way, and this is where Monster Reborn is not really needed because it's a trap heavy format. Trap Check is to basically turbo out these 3 traps right here, Torrential Tribute, Heavy Storm Duster, and IDP. You're basically playing a third of each. The reason why I only play 2 IDPs is because I only have 2, and that did pretty well regardless. Solemn Strike, it helps negate your opponent's summons. I learned this the hard way at locals out of Fargo last night. I'm sorry for this late uploaded video. I forgot to do that. Apology. I got pretty held up. I had one recorded earlier, but that was me not expecting I would get top 16. So I wanted to re-record this for you guys just to show that this deck actually did something. It actually did pretty well. Would I have gone top 8? Yeah, 100%. I would have gone top 8 if I didn't brick. 100% if I actually didn't wake up at 6 in the fucking morning and blunder on round 1 where I lost against Drytrons, where I 100% could have got game if I didn't misplay so many times for my round 1. And that's where I got the wake up call. You gotta focus. You gotta fucking focus. You want this win? Focus. And so yeah, Solemn Strike helps you negate your opponent's summons and your opponent's monster effects. It's not a solemn warning where it negates summons by a card effect. So anyways, onto your extra deck, which is pretty standard to a good extent, but yeah. Anyways, you're playing 1 Trident, 1 Kong, 2 Chalk, 2 Mortar, and 2 Borbo, so that's basically your Zoodiac engine. Next up, you're playing, sorry for the lag, I'm using Irion. I need to get a better camera, honestly, but yeah. Anyways, you're playing now 1 Vespinato, 1 Constellar Pleiades, 1 Divine Arsenal Zeus. So the reason why you're playing Vespinato is the reason for again, opportunistic timing where your opponent has monsters in defense position. You go into Vespinato, attack for piercing damage, or you just attack directly for a 2500 attack. It does more damage than a Borbo unless your Borbo has a Whiptail, Thoroughblade, and another Whiptail or something like that, which is rare considering your ratios of Zoodiacs. So you want to go into Vespinato as well. Pleiades is for if you have your Golden Land cards, you overlay them and just send back your opponent's like cards. Again, opportunistic, you get also attack for game for 25. Zeus is for basically clear. So there are times where I never saw play these, but at times I really saw it. But the one thing is I've never really saw Vespinato, and there are times where I wanted another Zeus. For those who've been following me on twitch.tv/LollyHandTrap, go follow there for seeing live gameplay. There are times when you really want another Zeus, but you can't go to another Zeus because of Vespinato, or there are times when you want Vespinato but you don't have Vespinato. There are times where Pot of Avarice seems nice in his deck. 100%. I want to play Pot of Avarice, but I need to make room for it. Anyways, lastly, we're going to the Link Monsters. So for your Link Monsters, you're basically going to 1 Link Spider, 1 Ossa, 1 BLS, and 1 Infinite Track Megaclops. So the reason why you're playing 1 Link Spider is for basically your Link Monster or your opponent's Nibiru. You basically link it off with your monster and go to Ossa, where if you're going against the mirror, you basically take your opponent's Earth Monster, or Ghost Bell. Ghost Bell is an Earth Monster, where you could possibly summon your another Golden Lord, go to BLS Link. And another alternative is you go into Ossa, you take your opponent's Trident, pop off your Ram to go into basically Megaclops as well. You can do that. I've never really seen Megaclops because honestly it was too hard to summon, but I saw BLS Link a lot, where it helps you out against the mirror or Drytrons as well. But yeah, anyways, on to your next things. I'm sorry for the mic bump, but I placed my Psydek there, my bad. But anyways, next up are your Psydek, which is you play 3 Droll Lockbird. So Droll Lockbird again is pretty good this format against the mirror. I mean, not really mirror if they don't really know how to play around it. Zed, Invoke Dogma, Drytrons, Altergeist, Virtual World, whatever deck that adds cards. Next up are your 3 Artifact Lancias. Lancia basically can kill Dinos, Virtual World, and Dogma Invoked. So basically, Lancia is a pretty good deck card. So what would you side in? So basically, you would side out the Nibirus, 1 Sanguine, or the Torrentials as well. It depends on what your matchup is, but you would basically play these two mostly against other decks, which I basically sided in these in a lot. Droplets, if you're expecting your opponent to make you go second, which is pretty highly because they're expecting your trap deck, you want to side in Droplets 100% to go against the Ultimateness and also the Vandy's Ruler. Next up, you're playing 3 Cyclones. 3 Cyclones is the fact that get back row heavy decks, ZOODIAC, ELDLICH, blah blah like that. So because of that, you're playing 1 Hoppy Feather Duster as well. And then because for the Drytron mirror Drytron matchup, you're playing 1 Entity spell frag, so they cannot activate ritual spells. They have to set it and pass for that turn. But anyways, guys, that is it for the ZOODIAC deck profile. Hope you enjoy. If you want to see actual gameplay, you can check out the VODs at twitch.tv/LollyHandTrap, or you can just stick around because there is I will be uploading a live duel between me and Esteban, where I played the prototype deck of this deck on YouTube, where he played Drytrons. And yeah, but anyways, guys, till the next, bye.